Welcome, Scorpio. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot getting ready to do your December full moon reading. This is the full moon is in Gemini on the 7th, the day of this reading. And for most of you, it will have an impact on your natural area of activity, which is death, sex, taxes. More fundamentally, the way that you share resources with others, the way that you share what you have with others. This is a general reading, so it's not going to resonate for every Scorpio. I encourage you to check your other placements for a fuller message. If this reading does resonate for you, Scorpio, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I thank all of you that do. Let's get your overall energy for the December full moon, and we have the Hermit card. The Hermit card shows that you are naturally inclined to look within for the answers you seek from the external world. This is you knowing that you are your authority. Whatever authority exists for you in the world, you are able to match that inside of you. And as a result, when you look for answers, questing from your teachers, those mentors, those that you respect, you are understanding that that is an energy that is informing you about your next steps, and what you learn you're able to share with others. So the Hermit card really embodies the model of teaching for me. This is the way in which you behave. You model this behavior for others to follow. In the 10th house, the house of your social identity, the Queen of Wands is indicating the tremendous passionate confidence that you are exuding at this time. Your confidence comes out of your heart, out of your skills, and out of your authentic self, so that you are identifying what works best for you and you're moving enthusiastically in that direction. However, your power and passion creates a magnet for you. And as enthusiastically and exuberant as you feel, you're able to magnetize the resources you need towards you. The first house, the Ace of Pentacles. This is indicating your focus on the development of abundance, the offer perhaps of a new way to pursue abundance. This is new opportunities, new directions, building something new, or considering the offer of that. In the 4th house, the house of your home, your history, your family, the Justice card also means that you are seeking some redress to an unfairness you've experienced. You may be in a position to activate this consciousness of equality or fairness, justice in your social world, but this is really coming from your own personal experience of mistreatment, abuse, maltreatment, so that you recognize what you have suffered, so too have many others. And you are not only confronting this within yourself, but you are motivated to address this in your world. In the 7th house, the house of your significant others, you are dazzled by a number of options. These options at this time are fairly superficial. They come from your projections of the fantasies that and the illusions that you once believed would provide the escape from whatever unhappiness you were experiencing. And this is ways in which a partner can fulfill a fantasy that never materializes, because there is no way that this projection of a rescuer, a saver, someone who supplies you with the love you desire, is going to be matched by you by projecting all your love and your need for love outward. This is you now really understanding some of the details of these options and the ways in which you've used these options to distract you from your path, your service, your purpose. I'm going to clarify the Ace of Wands in the first house with the High Priestess in the second house and the Queen of Swords in the third house. You are absolutely hearing the stories of abuse, injustice, unfairness, inequality. You're open up to hearing that, and you are adjudicating that in some way. You're passing judgment. You're lending resources to the address of personal issues of unfairness and abuse. And I'm not sure if you're in a position where you are actually, as part of your work or effort, prepared to receive these complaints, perhaps these cases of abuse or mistreatment, even violent behavior. Somehow you are in a position to hear these stories and hear them dispassionately in a way that allows you to render some kind of service to this untreatment, in addition to balancing out the treatment itself, the injustice itself. This comes from a really deep place of your own information. And what I'm getting over and over again is this knowledge of abuse. The experience of abuse has been personal, has been generational, and it is something that you are now experiencing and communicating about in a safe way. Justice in the fourth house is being clarified by the Ten of Wands in the fifth house and the Nine of Swords in the sixth house. There's been a tremendous release of obligations and responsibilities to others. These responsibilities are those that have been projected upon you by either our conventions, our conditioning, and you have worked hard to adjust this sense of responsibility to reflect more authentically on your needs and desires. You're releasing an old and conventional way of creating, collaborating, or even finding joy and pleasure. You're closing out a cycle where you needed to meet the needs of others. And instead, you are really tuning into some deep wisdom about this mistreatment or abuse that you've experienced and that you recognize others experience as well. You, in accepting the suffering and pain that you've experienced in your life, you are releasing this. And part of that release is an ability to look at this, to release the powerful emotions that you've experienced and that have exhausted and drained you, so that you are now making space for this new opportunity that is coming in, freeing you up to consider this objectively, to recognize the value here. The Seven of Cups in the seventh house is being clarified by the Hierophant in the eighth house and the King of Coins in the ninth house. So this area of this deep lesson that you are learning, this repetitive lesson that you are beginning to understand and free yourself from, is where this full moon is highlighting its energy. You are not only, as the impermit, learning, climbing the stairs, accepting the lessons, taking the steps to listen to your teachers, your mentors, your advisors, authorities you recognize, but you are teaching what you're learning to others beyond modeling, not simply through your behavior, but through your explicit service, ability to counsel, support, and teach. This is taking you to a place of focus on your stability. This is helping you anchor into your spiritual beliefs much more deeply, because you are now feeling as though you're doing the work that your spirituality is calling for you to do, that your path, your purpose is pointing you towards. You're giving the service, you're rendering, you're supporting the victims of some terrible abuse, some violent abuse, some social abuse. You know what this situation is for you. But you are providing the service, you're providing the structure and stability for healing. The Queen of Wands in the 10th house is clarified by the 10 of Swords in the 11th house and the 2 of Wands in the 12th house. The 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords is indicating your ability to feel and own the pain of this trauma, this experience, this generational trauma that you've experienced is actually clearing the way, finally, for you to release unhappy relationships, unhappy events, and all of the attachment to our unhappy feelings about those events. So this is really about you integrating the lessons that you've learned, integrating the understanding of this experience and the consequences that you have a hand in delivering for the unhappy events of this trauma, this experience. And this is really taking you to a reflection on how much you've grown, the opportunities you once felt familiar and comfortable with, and the way in which you can now look upon the horizon to a new horizon, a new beginning in a new direction. You're finding new inspiration to plan and to grow and to be afraid and to do it anyway. I'm going to finish this up, Scorpio, with an oracle card. I believe this is called Soul's Journey. And the card I've pulled is Judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique paths and challenges. And this is particularly relevant to you who are in some kind of powerful position to address this mistreatment, unfairness, or injustice. I hope this has been helpful to you, Scorpio. Until next time, Namaste.